shall start. How to find your baggers. Thoughts learned, titingin ba ako dyan? Or sa kanila?
Okay lang.
Anywhere, okay. Thoughts learned from great investors. Edited by Nikki Yu, Faces Trader. So, you guys know this song. I want to be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Okay. So, I also want to be a billionaire. Who doesn't want to be a billionaire? Okay, marami magsasabi, I don't want to be a billionaire. Mga multi-millionaire, pwede na. That's true. So, we all want to be rich. Now, if you really, really want to be rich, so freaking bad, you have to be a history buff. I think. If you want to be a billionaire, you have to study not every billionaire, but every billionaire that you want to become. You want to become, say, someone like Apple the App. He's not a billionaire, but he's like close to that. He's a rapper, a businessman, so many things. He's someone that you want to become. You want to become like him, you have to study his history. How did he become who he is today? So, if you want to be a great trader or investor, you have to study the best in the field. Bakit ka naghahanap ng guru sa Facebook? All over the world, there's so many billionaires that you can study from that are free. And if hindi man sila free, 100 pesos, 1,000 pesos. Look, I bought this book, 125 pesos from book sale. Okay? So, don't tell me, mahal ang education. Ignorance is expensive. Ignorance is expensive. Hindi siya bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. It is expensive. So I would suggest, if you want to be a billionaire or a great trader or investor, you consult the following books. Jack Schwager's Market Wizards. He interviews the top traders in America. World class. Okay? Hedge Fund Market Wizards is a starting point. This was just recent, yung Hedge Fund Market Wizards. I think that was 2012 or something. So, hindi totoo na porket may financial crisis, wala nang magaling. That's not true. Sometimes, kumikita sila on a down market. That's possible. Stephen Robney's Inside the House of Money. Okay, I got that book. Dala ko siya here. This book. I like this book. So, highly recommended. Ken Fisher's 100 Minds That Made the Markets. So, sa book ni Ken Fisher, na 100 Minds That Made the Markets, dyan makikita nyo yung history of how markets evolve. From the starting point nila Vanderbilt, Cornelius Vanderbilt, from starting point nila who's this? John Pierpont Morgan. Yung mga nakikita nyo ngayon na pangalan, Goldman Sachs, pangalan ng tao yun. Si JP Morgan is John Pierpont Morgan. Si Goldman is, pangalan niya, apelido Goldman. And then si Sachs, apelido niya Sachs. Nag-team up sila, kaya Goldman Sachs. Anyway, hindi ko rin alam lahat ng storya, pero alam ko, lahat ng pangalan ng bangko today, nanggaling yan sa pangalan ng mga tanyag na investors or investment bankers. So, bull or bear market, great and profitable ideas continue to get funded by Wall Street. So, today's topic, highly recommended, read the following: Running Money and Eat People by Andy Kessler. William O'Neill, How to Make Money in Stocks. Michael Moe, Finding the Next Starbucks. Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street. Peter Thiel, 0 to 1. Those are the books that I want you guys to read. Finilter ko na yan. I've read so many books and these are my favorites. So far. At least sila yung gusto ko. So who is Andy Kessler? He's just turned a $10 million fund into $1 billion in 5 years. Technology boom, yes, but how? Who is William O'Neill? Do you know Investors Business Daily, IBD.com? Have you heard about CanSlim, that system? Okay, I would suggest na you guys learn about it because William O'Neill has helped thousands of investors, hundreds of thousands, and continue to help them in America. Okay, William O'Neill is a very great trader and investor, and the truth is, the legendary ones are not afraid to talk about their systems. So, yun yung totoo. Who is Michael Moe? Do you know about megatrend investing? He is the guy who made money investing and adding winners on Starbucks. The coffee. Starbucks. Who is Peter Lynch? Have you guys heard about this? Him. He's a legendary investor in Fidelity Fund. He's the one responsible for the now popular term, bagger, which means 100% gains on stocks. Siya nagpauso nun. Ang bagger is a baseball term. You get baggers, home runs. So, si Peter Lynch yun. Hindi yan some forum person. Okay? Nanggaling yan sa isang legendary investor. Who is Peter Thiel? Legendary venture capitalist, tech entrepreneur, PayPal, Roots, and beyond. So, knowledge, skills. Manage risks. Knowledge and the usefulness of knowledge, skills with almost no bounds. That's what Andy Kessler said. If you are knowledgeable, wala kang hinto. Actually, kahit maging bilyonaryo ka, hindi humihinto yung skill. Kaya mo yan i-reciprocate. Kaya yan sa lahat. So, pag magaling kang investor sa Pilipinas, kaya mo gawin yan sa lahat ng mundo. There is no such thing as no risk. Kaya maniniwala sa taong risk-free to, risk-free to. There's no such thing. There is only managed risk. Wala, sinulat ko, NU. Ako yun. Invento. So, baggers are long-run winners. Peter Lynch, Fidelity's legendary fund manager, he espoused the idea that ordinary investors like you and me can find stocks that move 500% or 100, 1,000% by themselves. I wish it were really true and easy. Is it? How could an ordinary investor like you and me find 5 baggers or 10 baggers? Example, Starbucks, Apple, Tencent, Universal Robina, Jollibee, ICT, Microsoft, Google, Intel, Cisco. Do you have new winners? Fill in the blanks. Hindi ko na i-fill in the blanks yan. May mga new winners. Okay. So, the question is there such a thing as a long-run value? Kung nag-up na siya ng 100% in the next 2 years, paano pa siya naging value? Value ba yun? Yung 5 piso, naging 10 piso na. Yung 10 piso, naging 20 na. Paano naging value yan? Value, nag-times 4 na yun ah. Natanong niyo sarili niyo yun? Paano naging value yung Jollibee? May nagsabi sa akin, 100 pesos, mura yan. 110, mura pa rin yan. Tapos sabihin ko, puhunan mo 50 pesos eh. Tapos mura pa rin itong 110. So bakit nga? 100% up, long run, long-term value pa din. Because investing is not being a slave to the last stock tick. Companies would announce earnings every quarter. High-growth companies are highly vulnerable to bad news, and even hints of problems can create a shoot first, ask questions later response. Traders are very news sensitive. Investing has become too short-term these days. You have to remember my context. I didn't start out being an investor. I'm a trader. I'm a short-term chupetero. Kaya ko mag-trade ng 100 times churn in a month. Yun yung discipline ko before. Hindi ako position trader. Hindi 100 times, exaggerate. Pero mga iniikot ko yung portfolio ko. If I had a 500,000 peso portfolio, buy, sell within 3 days or 2 days or 1 day. So, paano naging investor yun? Diba? What makes me an investor if I trade that fast? That's because I didn't understand what investing was. What is investing? To me, it is seeing the future. Investing is like this. Expectations would change every day. Someone sours on a story, thinks a new competitor will eat their lunch, and the stock goes down. Someone is at a cocktail party over the weekend. A listed company salesman tells na he's under quota. Sasabihin ng isang Ayala Land representative, pare, hindi ko nahihit yung quota ko. Or something. The stock price on Monday goes down. It's next to impossible to catch these moves. They more often tell you absolutely nothing about the long-run fundamentals of the company. Some portfolio manager is sick seeing his stock on the screen. He disposes it, it's down $3 on no news. It happens all the time. It doesn't mean that the quarter is bad. The best investors do not get persuaded by stock blips or charts. It's about staying ahead of the curve, anticipating changes in sentiment. You've got to anticipate what the newspaper headlines will say next. Now, if you're short term, what will the headlines say next week? If you're long term, what will the headlines say next year? Will they say that 2015 is the best performing stock market of the world, is Philippines? Will they say that? So that is investing. Investing is not a walk in the park. Wealth comes not just from taking risks, but constantly taking risks. Is an investor the ultimate gambler? Some traders say yes, because the investor will constantly take risks about a company's long-term prospects, not the next 3 months, but the next 3 years. So how could you know your next 3 years? You can be a long-term investor, but you constantly have to adjust your sights to the next big thing. We may be in the midst of a long cycle, like the British 100-year-old industrial boom. But that doesn't mean you can buy and hold and be on the golf course by noon. What does that mean? Hindi yan tinutulugan. Ang totoong buy and hold na investor, hindi yun tulog. Hindi yun pumikit mata at natulog at gumising, wow, may 5-bagger na ako after 5 years. Hindi ganun yun. If it was really a 5-bagger, hindi ka nag-add ng winner mo. Bakit? Next month, wala ka ng payday? Or let's say, hindi ka salary person. Ba't hindi ka nag-add kung tama ka? Anong kwenta? 5-bagger, tapos hawak mo 10,000 shares. 100,000 pesos ng URC, totoo. Times 10, 1 million. Bakit 100,000 pesos forever? Bakit hindi nag-start ng 1 million at nag-add? Dahil wala ka ng 100,000 pesos? Oh, hindi ako naniniwala. Wealth really is a never-ending process. So is running money. You cannot just walk away and ask about the meaning of life. It is my life and all-consuming. People who run money, they do it because it's their life. Buhay na nila yun. Tinanong ko yan sa boss ko. The first time na nagpunta ako sa wealth, hindi ko maintindihan. You're such a legendary investor. Wala ka nang kailangang pera sa mundo. Bakit? And then, ang answer sa akin ni Boss Wilson, every great trader and investor that I meet nga pala, they're very humble. They said, sabi niya sa akin, actually, yung asawa ko, sabi niya, tumigil na ako. Hindi ko na kailangan kumita, masaya na siya, masaya na yung asawa ko, ganun stuff. Pero, ano na kasi, parang, sometimes, it's not really about making money already. It's really about being correct, being right. Uy, tama yung view. So, yun. So, sabi ko, iba ka na talaga when you're in the market not to make money. Hindi sa pagmamayabang. hindi niya na talaga kailangan yung pera. So, parang, if you're gonna have a mentor, find a mentor who's doing it because of the love of the game. Because the people who love it, they are really, naturally, gonna work harder than someone who's in it for the money. I'm not being hypocritical. I started with the market to make money. Lahat tayo ganun. But if we want to do this, in a way, we want to actually not just be in the golf course by noon. It's not true for our work, for our work week. It becomes for our work week because wala ka namang plano talaga na, kumbaga, if you're choosing, what I'm saying is, investing is not for everyone. Okay? Serious investors, it's not a walk in the park. But, does it mean na, shucks, forever sad na ako, ayoko na mag-invest, ganun pala ka-sad yun? Hindi naman. Because, William O'Neill will tell you, you can invest, actually. Hindi kailangan ng isang fund manager to handle your money. And a lot of average investors can be better than Warren Buffett. They can be better. There are so many examples, hindi ko lang nasulat here, but there are so many people who have been outperforming all of these hedge funds. Even if their account is just 100,000 pesos or 1 million pesos. It doesn't matter where you start, diba? It's important how you become improving. Like, how do you improve? Evolution is simply constantly changing. Huwag kayo matutulog. Alam ko may aircon and stuff. Mabilis makatulog. I'll try to make it as much as possible. Fast, pero hindi nakakaantok. Sabi ni Jack Welch, he's a very famous CEO, business guy. Sabi niya, innovation is not a big breakthrough every time. Innovation is a constant thing. But if you don't have an innovative company coming to work every day, you don't have a company. You're getting ready to die at the vine. So actually, it is small changes, small steps, constant changes. Hindi ka immediately overnight success. So when people say there's no overnight success, that's true. Whether it's you or it's a company, hindi ka gumising, isang dilat ng mukha mo, mata mo, uy, meron na akong joint venture with Dunkin' Donuts sa China. Ano yun? Yung ulap, binigyan ka na lang na, ayan, may franchise ka na. Hindi ganun yun. Hindi ka basta-basta magkakaroon ng 100 branches next year na walang hirap. Ang stock prices, may earnings sa laman yan. May fundamentals yan sa loob. Hindi pwede ang isang stock from 10 pesos or 12 pesos naging 48 pesos na walang nangyari. Tinulak lang ng owner yan. Insider buying kasi. Hindi ganun yun. May nangyari doon. May earnings yun. May fundamentals behind it. What is your edge? Yan, tinatanong yan sa mga fund managers or anyone handling money for other people. Because, if you don't have an edge, ba't ko bibigay pera ko sa'yo? Kahit nakapitbahay kita, kahit nakaibigan kita. Invest in companies with great long-term prospects. Yun yung sabi ng lahat. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Napaka-vague. Jim Burkhart said, I check all the stats, economic indicators, earnings numbers, all that garbage. Everyone has them, so they don't provide much of an edge. My edge is trying to know the headlines before they appear. There are a bunch of long-term trends, and I pick a few I really believe in, and then extend them far enough out that I can write next year's headlines today. I'm not always right, but I usually get pretty close. It makes all the noise go away. Alam mo yung, yan, if bago ka, hindi ko naintindihan, Nikki, ano sinabi niya? Pero ulitin mo yan. Know the headlines before they appear. I can write next year's headlines today. You're actually creating a future, right? You're investing by knowing what that future is. Because you are backing up an investment that has entrepreneurs solidly growing their earnings. They're doing something so that next year, susulatin natin sa headlines, blah 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 sells la 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 iPhones, blah blah in China or something. So, hindi pwede Apple just sold 77 million iPhones without doing anything. Why was there even an iPhone to begin with? Why is there an iWatch? You know? Changes, that's what you can make money on. Change is the key.